Imagine a world where empires ruled, alliances were fragile, and a single spark could ignite a global conflict. This was the reality in 1914, when World War I began, a war so devastating, it was called the War to End All Wars. But instead of peace, it set the stage for an even darker chapter in human history. In this video, we'll explore the causes, key events, and lasting impact of World War I. By the end, you'll understand why this conflict reshaped the world forever. Let's dive in. Part 1. The causes of World War I. World War I didn't start overnight. It was the result of decades of tension, fueled by four main factors: militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. First, militarism. European powers were in an arms race, building up their armies and navies to outdo each other. Second, alliances. Countries formed complex partnerships. The Triple Entente, France, Russia, and Britain, faced off against the Triple Alliance, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. These alliances turned a local conflict into a global war. Third, imperialism. Nations competed for colonies and resources, creating rivalries and resentment. And finally, nationalism. Pride in one's nation often turned into hostility toward others. The spark that lit the fuse came on June 28, 1914, when Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary was assassinated by a Serbian nationalist. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, and like dominoes, the alliances pulled the world into war. By August 1914, Europe was at war. Germany, following the Schlieffen Plan, invaded Belgium to quickly defeat France before turning to Russia. But the plan failed. The Western Front became a stalemate, with both sides digging trenches that stretched from the North Sea to Switzerland. Life in the trenches was hell. Soldiers faced mud, rats, disease, and constant shelling. On the Eastern Front, Germany and Austria-Hungary clashed with Russia. The fighting was brutal, and millions of lives were lost. Meanwhile, new technologies like machine guns, tanks, and poison gas made the war deadlier than ever. The world had never seen destruction on this scale. Several battles defined the course of the war. The Battle of the Somme in 1916 saw over 1 million casualties in just 5 months. It was a grim reminder of the war's brutality. At Verdun, the longest battle of the war, France and Germany fought for 10 months, with no clear winner. The Gallipoli campaign was an Allied attempt to open a supply route to Russia. It ended in disaster, with heavy losses on both sides. But the tide began to turn in 1917. The United States entered the war after Germany's unrestricted submarine warfare and the Zimmermann telegram. Fresh American troops and supplies gave the Allies the edge they needed. By 1918, the Central Powers were exhausted. Germany's spring offensive failed, and Allied forces began to push back. On November 11, 1918, an armistice was signed, ending the fighting. The war was over, but the cost was staggering. Over 16 million people had died, and entire cities were in ruins. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, officially ended the war. Germany was forced to accept full responsibility and pay reparations, a decision that would have devastating consequences in the years to come. World War I didn't just end empires, it reshaped the world. The Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, German, and Russian empires collapsed, and new nations emerged. The war also led to the creation of the League of Nations, an early attempt at global peacekeeping. But it failed to prevent another world war. The harsh terms of the Treaty of Versailles left Germany humiliated and economically crippled, paving the way for the rise of Adolf Hitler and World War II. World War I also changed society. Women entered the workforce in large numbers, and technological advancements accelerated. But the trauma of the war lingered for generations. World War I was a turning point in history, a conflict that showed both the best and worst of humanity. It reminded us of the cost of war and the importance of peace. As we look back, let's remember the millions who lost their lives and the lessons we can learn from their sacrifice. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more history content. Let me know in the comments, what do you think was the most significant impact of World War I? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.